Okay, so now we're up here on iTunes Connect. We're over here to My Apps, so we're going to add another app. So here's my game here, version 1.2. Let's go ahead and click on here to add another one. It's iOS. And this will be in English. No, not Vietnamese. English. Bundle ID will be our tutorial for 3D Motive. Let's call this 1.0. There we go. So now we want to prepare this for submission. Of course, we're never going to submit this, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and click on this. Now, in order to upload, you're going to have all the screenshots here. And again, that's a bunch of stuff we're not going to bother with for the purposes of this tutorial. So here on the build, it's going to say submit your build with either Xcode or Application Loader. So let's go ahead and go to Application Loader. And again, I need to log on here. Okay, so we're going to deliver our app. There we go. Okay, so let's get out of this one because this is obviously my project. Looks like we saved it on the wrong directory. Looks like we saved it in the old 4.11 directory. That's fine for now, but we should fix that later. That's not important. Point is that we successfully built it. So let's go ahead and open that, and let's see if we can get that to upload for us. There we go. Okay, it's version SKU number 1.0. Let's go ahead and hit next. And Apple will do a lot of kind of error checking, make sure that it's all going to be correct. And as I mentioned before, when we named our project originally, we had an underscore, which was an invalid character in the XML scheme that Apple uses, which it created that XML scheme name from the project name, and that's why we made sure to remove all kinds of underscores and that kind of thing from our name. So that's just an example of one of the error checking things that. And see, we actually do have some error checking. Okay, I think I figured out what I was doing wrong. I was still packaging a development build, and that's why it was getting kicked back. So I switched to shipping, and yes, we have successfully uploaded. Just real quick, because I want to make sure this was working before I turn it back on. It did actually build a separate file. So what we were trying to upload was this 3dmotive.ipa, and that was what was failing because that is a development build. This was the shipping build, and actually says iOS shipping in the title, which is kind of a hint that that is the correct one. So regardless, that was my error. I hadn't switched to shipping. If you come over here, I'm in App Loader right now. But come over here to, we're going to package the project, build configuration. See, now it's set to shipping. Before I had it set to development. That was my error, and that's why I was being kicked back. Okay, so that explains that problem. So now let's go on back to where we were. and I got booted off, so I gotta log on again. Okay, so we're back here. We scroll down. Now this part I thought was a little confusing because here it is asking us what build we want and to load it, which we've already done. Turn Game Center on. We definitely want that. So we've uploaded it. Now down here somewhere, where was it at? There it is. So the app name right there, 3D Motive, earliest. So down here is where we're actually going to load the app. So it's a little confusing because up here it says to submit. Okay, so down here we turn Game Center on, and down here is where you select your app name and the latest version you want to upload or you want to use for this version. So yeah, I always found that a little confusing because it's putting the build here. Now obviously it wants us to submit to review, but it's not going to because we're missing a lot of information. I'm not going to go through and fill it all in. It's very similar to what we did in Google. And again, you're going to have all the screen captures here and all that kind of stuff. If you have it set to be compatible with iPhone, you're going to have iPhone screen captures. If you have it set to be compatible with iPad, you're going to have iPad screen captures because they're different screens, they're different formats. So over here, we're going to set up our in-app purchases. Let's just go ahead and do one real quick. Now, in Google, they're all considered consumables or subscriptions. So Apple gives you a lot more different options. Consumable would be like if you bought Pokeballs on Pokemon Go. A non-consumable would be like if you bought a new character unlock in Temple Run, because that would be permanent. It's not something that you would use and it would go away. It's something that is persistent. So let's go ahead and hit consumable. So the reference name would be more like the cute name, like say buy one continue, which is what I had in my game. So for the product ID, you want that to match the one that you have in your Android version, your Google Play version. And this is what I was talking about before. You can do that. Apple will let you. But then it won't match what's in Google because Google does not support capitalization and special characters. So under price tier, notice it doesn't let you set a specific price. You have to have one of these tiers, these kind of pre-selected prices. And if you, yeah, I'll come right here. So tier 1 is 99 cents. It's basically $1. And this is all the conversion thing. So this will have buy continue, and under description, purchase a single continue. Okay, and then you have to kind of give a little screenshot of what the for like the icon. Go ahead and save that. So this won't be approved until it's got that icon. So if we come here to edit, and you'll see here that we can't change this at all. So if I have this wrong, I'm going to have to delete it and rebuild it. Which is what I had to do for my in-app purchases here. So just to kind of show you how I got that set up. So see here that this has kind of got a nice name, 1 continue, 100 to 10 continues. But the product ID, this matches what the name was in my Google side. So again, to summarize, this is a nice pretty name. You can call this whatever you want. This, however, to make life easier, you want that to match whatever it is you called your in-app purchases on Google Play. Otherwise, you're going to have to put things in the code where it says, okay, if I'm Android, use this name. Otherwise, if I'm iOS, use this name. And that just makes the code a lot more complicated. So over here in Game Center, this is where we will set up our leaderboards and achievements. And it's pretty much the same way as you have set them up in Google Play. The one difference is, again, you want your achievement ID to be the same name. Otherwise, you're going to have to put exceptions in the code. And I forget what we call them. But the only real difference is that when you go to language, there's a pre-earned and an earned description, which I think is kind of cool, but it's a little more tedious. The pre-earned basically is like saying, this is what you need to do to earn this achievement. And the earned description is, hey, you have earned this achievement. That's basically the difference. And again, I'm not going to go through it because we're already running very, very long, but the setup is really similar to what we did in Google. So that's all right there. Again, you just want to make sure that your names match, otherwise you're hating life. And then same with the leaderboards. It does the exact same thing.